what do I say? I can get it wrong. You can't get it wrong with me. That's the beautiful thing.
How are you, Suzy, Eddie Izzard?
I'm very good. I'm still Eddie Izzard, actually, but I've just thrown Suzy in there as well. So some people calling me Suzy Izzard, some people actually, it's really in first name thing. Some people call me Suzy, some call it Eddie. My brother's staying with Eddie Izzard. There's a number of people going, well, I'm staying with Eddie. And so no one can make a mistake. And
Right.
prefer she, her, don't mind he, him. I'm gender fluid. It's there's a lot of people, what do I say? I can get it wrong. You can't get it wrong with me. That's the beautiful thing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
I wanted to be when I was 10. I thought Suzy, and now I thought I actually went to do the Tribeca Film Festival.
Yes.
Right? I haven't told anyone this, except for my friends, but it's not a big deal, this story, but this is how it happened. I went to the Tribeca Film Festival, got there, got COVID on the first morning. I was going to celebrate Velvet Goldman, a film I did, Ewan McGregor, many years ago. It was going to be great to see everyone, and then it didn't happen. And so they were phoning out. I'm stuck in a hotel, a nice hotel, people, very nice to me, but there was one manager who was saying, now, because they had my passport, now Edward, because Edward John Izzard, this is why Suzy Eddie Izzard, that's why I was putting it that, because that's what's going to be on my passport, even though you choose one or the other. You don't have to, it's not a double-barreled thing. But they were saying, Edward, now what are you doing in the hotel? I said, well, I got COVID. I've told you. Yes, but you're supposed to go. No, I'm still got COVID. You know that thing, COVID? It's still going around. And she kept calling me Edward, and I was going, well, no one calls me. Yeah. So I just thought, why don't I shove Suzy on my passport? And then they'll have to say, now, Suzy, what are you doing in the room? And I just thought that would be kind of fun. So that's what I did.
You're going to go out as Eddie?
Yeah, Eddie, I'm just staying as Eddie Izzard. I'm staying in it. Everyone, thank you for the Suzy Eddie Izzard, but that's like my passport name's coming up on the screen. And so some people, my friends are calling me Suzy, some people are calling me Eddie, and that's kind of it. In the streets, it's whatever you want. You can't go wrong. That's what I'm trying to do.
Is that where we are now? Is that where we're going to end up?
I don't know. I think so. Well, I do know that the younger generations are growing up, and when you're saying, I am... are you this or are you that? This binary thing about sexuality or sex or gender or whatever it is. The younger generation is growing up saying, hey, cool, man, just go with what you want,
Yeah.
And I think the younger generations are going to sort it out for us by just being less hot and bothered about it.
They really are, in a million different ways, aren't they? But love is ever present, isn't it? And it's what most of us practice.
In the world, yes, I think most live, treat other people as you like to be treated yourself.
Yeah.
The golden rule, which is in all the major religions. I'm not a religious person, but that part I totally go.
Very briefly, Suzy, because I know you've talked about it a lot, but you chose Suzy because...
Well, Suzy Kendall in To Sir With Love, Sidney Poitier film. It's a great film. I like the name, I like the spelling, and I thought, yes, but, I seem to be a boy.
Because you loved Suzy.
Well, yeah, the name in particular.
And the character?
Yeah, she's an interesting character. It really was the name.
Is that because Suzy was more rare then, because it was usually Susan?
I'm not sure what it was.
Or Sue.
But, yeah, it probably more Sue. There was more Sues around, or Susans. But... Sorry,
Lulu, you mentioned Lulu.
Lulu's in the film. Yeah, it's a great film. If anyone...
It's an amazing film.
You can download it right away if you want to. Sidney Poitier, just an excellent form. And it makes you cry at the end. And... yeah, it's just a wonderful film. So that came into my head, and I thought, well, that's not going to happen. And then when I came out, it's 38 years ago, before everything happened. And so 1985, and Eddie Izzard became my name, my brand name. I don't want to call it brand name, but it is the name that people associate with me. So I didn't want to go away from that. And I am gender fluid, and I have been open about this for so long. And I knew this when I was 5. Well, I knew that I was a little bit different when I was 5. So I just decided to talk about it. Be honest. I just thought back in 85, why don't I tell the truth about this? Even though it was very toxic at that time to say you were trans. It was just incredibly toxic. But now, even though there's a lot of discussion, there were no discussions back then. Yeah. So it's cooler now. And so, yeah, I just exist, and some people will be transphobic to me, but most people are very cool and groovy.
Of course they are, because most people are like that.
Yeah.
Thank God. Speaking to your run of Great Expectations, which you're on to talk about, which you will do now, you didn't read much as a kid.
No, a dyslexic kid. I didn't know that at the time. A lot of creative people, I think, are dyslexic because we tend to think sideways rather than straight up and down. And I'm kind of high function. I'm severely atypically dyslexic. So I didn't read books, didn't want to read books. Occasionally I did. But now audiobooks, I inhaled audiobooks now. But then I realised I hadn't read a great work of of literature ever. And then I thought, and then I also added to that fact the idea that the audiobooks were on the rise, so maybe an audiobook company would pay me to read a book. That's what happened. And Wildfire did this, and so they said, and I'm 150 years to the day younger than Dickens. 7th of February 1812, 7th of February 1962. So I used this link with Dickens. Hey, I'm linked with Dickens, 150 years younger than him. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything.
I was going to say, what does that mean, 150 years younger than him?
Well, if I was exactly 100 years younger, then that would you go ooh, you make that noise. But 150 years, you go oh. 147 years, you go. But I'm in the and I've decided to run with it. I don't think it means anything.
Is it actually mathematically correct as well?
Yeah, 7th of February 1812, 7th of February 1962.
Nice.
Exactly to the day.
Love it.
And he interestingly wanted to be an actor first and became a writer, and then did a lot of performing. He performed his own works at the end.
I know.
And I want to be the writer, which takes me so long to write the stuff out that's in my head. But I've done more of the acting. So anyway, I decided to go with that. They said we'll do Great Expectations. So that came a suggestion from them, and the audiobook is now out there for people to download at their pleasure. It is the whole majesty of over 20 hours of book. And then I thought, because I do play lots of multiple characters on stage, you've seen me do, and that technique comes from Richard Pryor, I could use that technique I'm using in the comedy to do drama. So why don't I do Great Expectations, a live version of it? Now, my older brother Mark, who I've worked with on the translation things, he's good at French, German, and Spanish, so when I do shows in those languages, he translates them. And I said, let's do the adaptation together, but he just ran away with it and said, I've done Act 1, I've done Act 2 now, and so I said, right, Mark, you go and you do the whole thing. He's done the whole thing, and we got it on its feet and launched it in New York in December. And they loved it. They just rave reviews.
So there's adaptation,
off that.
There's characterization, and there's abridgment as well.
Well, yes, it's cut down from 20 hours to 2 hours.
That's the really difficult bit.
It is, because you've got to take out 90% of the book.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
How dare you?
Well, David Lean did it with his film. And
it is allowed.
No one's going to sit and watch a 20-hour film. It's just not going to happen. But David Lean's film is the benchmark with John Mills, and that comes in at 2 hours. So we're sort of exactly matching him. And, people, and it's me playing 19 of the characters. From if people don't know the characters, if they do, it's from small Pip up to Magwitch, the villain of the piece. Well, he's not the villain of the piece. He is a villain, and Miss Havisham, famous Miss Havisham, and Estella, the gorgeous Estella. So I play them all. So, and being trans, playing boys and girls, men and women, it's kind of it fits well, and yeah, the New Yorkers just gave it a huge.
I bet they did.
Salute.
I bet they did. I can't believe you're on to plug it because I can't believe it's inside that. It probably is. Eddie Izzard.
We haven't. We launch after you when your program. When I finish with you at 10
when
11
you
minutes.
finish with me.
Then Eddie Izzard. Well, this interview, Eddie Izzard, GreatExpectations.com. That's where the tickets will open in 11, 12 minutes.
Okay, I'm coming to this. If you had to pick a character that, because of how you do it and how you inhabit that character and how you enjoy it and how it comes across and how it lands with the audience, give us the top 3 from the 19.
Well, it's Pip, Estella, and probably Magwitch.
Okay, which one requires a little bit more work out of the 19?
No, Pip is me. I play the me of Pip, or the Pip of me.
Right.
Estella is interesting because she's so beautiful and so cold. And as a young kid, I sort of wanted to be being a pretty girl. That would have been really nice to me. So I can play that drop-dead gorgeous and having the control over Pip and anyone. That's very interesting to play. And Magwitch is just down and, playing this villain who is not quite what you think he is. And you have to change in it from this to Estella's here, and then Miss Havisham is Miss Havisham. Trying to separate Estella and Miss Havisham as one person playing. That's the interesting thing. Trying to physicalize them differently and to get a vocal place in the higher registers.
Okay, give us the URL again. Go on.
Eddie Izzard, GreatExpectations.com.
I love you so much. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I've known you for some time now, haven't I?
Yeah, it's all right, isn't
great,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're friends almost.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.